Okay, this video is for the Year 10 students at the Henry Box School in Witney, who sent me some questions about the Mars 1 mission. So, first question, what is your biggest fear and what are you most looking forward to about potentially going to Mars? So, to start with, about the biggest fear. With any mission to space, there's always a real risk of something going wrong when you take off and when you land. We're going to try and minimise this risk by sending 8 demonstration missions to test the technology before we risk sending any people. But you can never be 100% certain that something's not going to go wrong. And as to what I'm most looking forward to, I think it'll be the things that we don't expect to find. So in the past we used to think Mars was a dry, dead world, but now we know that water is everywhere on Mars in the form of ice, just beneath the surface, and that actually it used to be habitable in the distant past, with oceans and potentially even life on it. So who knows what we could find? So question 2, how does your family feel about you possibly going to Mars? So generally my family have been quite supportive because they know this is what I really want to do. I've always wanted to go into space and become an astronaut. And we actually do have relatives already living in Australia and New Zealand, so we've gotten used to long distance family relations. And 50 million miles is obviously a lot further away, but I think we'll still manage. But that being said, my little sister Bronte doesn't want me to go because we're really close. But we've talked about this and she knows that this is what I really want to do, and so she says that she'd support me if it came to it. Question 3. Can you communicate between Earth and Mars? So yes, we will be able to communicate. We're going to be sending 2 communication satellites to Mars. One is going to be in geostationary orbit over the Martian settlement, and the other is going to be at the L5 Lagrangian point, which is at the same orbit as the Earth, but it trails behind it by 60 degrees, so that when the Earth and Mars are at opposite sides of the Sun, we can bounce signals and still communicate. So we'll have 24/7 communication all year round. Question 4. Could you make a robot programmed on Earth that would work on Mars? So yes, and we actually already have 2 of them which are working on Mars as we speak. One is called Opportunity, which landed 10 years ago, and the second is Curiosity, which landed 2 years ago. And both of those are NASA robots. But we have a plan to send a rover in 2020 to find the best location for the settlement and eventually to move the habitat modules into place, ready for when we arrive. Question 5. What qualities do you need for the mission? So there's 5 key traits that we need for the mission. We need to be adaptable, highly adaptable. We need to be curious. We need to be able to trust other people. We need to be creative, and we need to be resilient. And that's what the selection process is looking for. Apart from that, we also need to be physically fit, have no long-term health conditions, and we also have to be mentally stable. There's a real risk that in such a small, confined conditions, insanity can be a big problem, so we have to have a good sense of humour. And for the final question, what are you going to miss most about Earth? So, of course I'm going to miss my family and my friends, but apart from that, I think just being able to walk outside without a pressure suit, being able to look up at the blue sky above, and just being able to breathe the air naturally without dying. We will have lots of modern luxuries on Mars. We will have an internet connection. We will have TV, but they're going to be limited by the communications delay. Food will also be a big issue as well. There's not going to be any chocolate or cake or anything like that on Mars. In fact, we're going to have to grow all of our own food, mainly vegetables, hydroponically. But I can tell you one thing that we're definitely not going to have on Mars, and that's boredom. So thank you for listening, and please follow me on this YouTube channel where I'll be updating on my progress of the mission. Thank you.